Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Young Black Equestrians, the podcast. This episode is part 2 with Stanford Moore, and we continue to speak about the impact that Black horsemanship and horsemen have had on the industry and how we as individuals can continue to make an impact. So feel free to send us a message if you have any questions, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. You are listening to Young Black Equestrians, the podcast, with your hosts, Aubriana Johnson and Caitlin Gooch.
About keeping that fire lit, because earlier you mentioned the financial side of it. And as far as you know, like the organization that you've seen on this side, and then even in Atlanta or anywhere else you have been, from a business perspective, what would be beneficial for us to keep that going? Because a lot of people can't afford it long term.
Yes. So let me tell you what's happening with momentum. And remember, one of the things that you learn about Nipsey Hussle and his movement is people stop and stand back and look at the genius of it. I just stumbled across this. I didn't know who a Nipsey Hussle was. That's what makes sense when you talk about the financial side. I didn't know who he was for about 6 months. That news anchor that put out that interview, that little docu-series of him, that he was out there talking, I think it was back in January. I shared it to my page, and I think I doubled back. Man, this guy, who is Nipsey Hussle? This guy's going to the I'm saying something all about people getting involved in kids. I shared it to my personal page. And then I reshared it because it was so good. Now I watched it again. Then it turns out maybe 4, 5, 6 months later, he ended up having that tragic fatal shoot. But I was just stumbling across him, and his whole message was it's a marathon. When I started Black Rain, I did it from a personal standpoint. I just thought it was important. My wife and I, we run Liberty Mobile Publishing. Here I am with a publishing company. It made it easy for me to launch Black Rain magazine because I did it as a side venture, but I already had all the everything was in place. To put it out, we had everything. All the publishing, as far as the print house, we had all that stuff. So it's a marathon. I did this with not an overnight success. We got now close to 10,000 followers just on Facebook alone. In a month, I think my last month, I did over 200 views to the page, 250,000 in 30 days. Click on the page. So there's a lot of people, whether they're a part of the page or not, they still know being go.
Yeah.
So we're doing 250,000 views to the page in a month, and it goes up. I think the 2 months prior to that it was at 175. So Old Town Road is really kicking. Well, it's when you got more people on the part of the page, you get more shares. So with that, it's a slow road. When people take you serious, a lot of the challenges that we find in our community is not how great we are. It's just people just knowing that we're there. And being competitive. It's not necessarily a black, white thing. It's just about just being special. So when a lot of these companies like Wrangler, they're about the dollar. When we start showing that our kids are serious about this, and you can now, that's why people don't understand how important it is to follow people that have a skill. Like, I interviewed Rena Johnson, and Rena Johnson is out there in California. Her dad's Jason, and she fell in love with horses at 5, and they got her straight involved in barrel racing. Man, she competes. And they hear this little girl at like 11 years old, I think when I interviewed her, like 11 years old. She was like, my morning starts at 4 a.m. I get up, I go to a trainer, I work out with my horse at 4 a.m. to about 5:36. I go home, get ready to go to school. I go to school. When I get out of school, I do my homework. After doing my homework, I go to feed and care for my horse. I then go back to the trainer. So about 7 o'clock, I come home and I get ready for bed to start my day over again. That's a kid that's serious, that if she keeps that up, she'll be great.
Yeah.
That's somebody a sponsor will look at and say, look, I don't care what color she is. If this girl keeps this type of dedication up with nobody looking and nobody coming in but just coming out of her parents' house, if you got somebody that your parent, as a parent, I don't mind working 2 jobs for a kid that's that dedicated. And so when a sponsor finds that we have enough people serious about what they do, they are willing to get behind. You look at some of the people that's coming up and doing it out of pocket now to where they are today, like Tory Johnson. I mean, this guy is doing big things. I think he just bought a brand new rig. He's doing it. Mm-hmm. Making money, earning a living at it. You have to find people that you can invest in. The problem is a lot of kids that don't look like us, that are, say, white kids, coming up, their father owns the hardware store. So he can now invest in his child and write it off. So he can look on there and see True Value Hardware on the side of her trailer sponsored by, and that's going to make it, and that's going to give her freedom that she got a trainer, the best horse, and start winning some of these events, which is going to do what? Attract other sponsors. Mm-hmm. It ain't because, it's because she's winning. She's winning because she doesn't have the pressure. She got the best horse, the trailer, the money to travel state to state and stay competitive. Mm-hmm. When you're competitive, it attracts other sponsors. Mm-hmm. We just have to, now, we don't have that luxury because our parents don't own it and can give you the freedom to just have the best trainers and travel all over the country and race all day without that type of pressure. Right. So we have to bring our best. When you find your best, you got to get behind them because those kids are going to open the doors to other African American kids who are not so great that they be talented enough to now be able to now put them on a horse that can compete, that may be sponsored by. And so that's one fold of putting our best first and get behind our best. Another fold is now reaching out to other businesses and showing them that there's value in investing in our youth. Give an example. Take something like Mary's, I was looking at something luster silk, like hair curls, activator. It doesn't matter. I'm showing my age.
I'm like, luster silk, what?
Okay. You see how old I am.
I mean, Cantu.
When I started thinking about Emily Jet magazine coming up, that's all I thought about. All these hair care products and stuff in there that's advertised. We as African Americans, when we go into these businesses, they find it hard to now see value in who we are based on our sport, their barrel race. They don't see value in it. That's not our argument. But when they see there's 50,000 black folks that ride horses and subscribe to these magazines, they would see value in that. Mm-hmm. We have to show outside businesses, like everything that Ebony and Jet and Essence magazine promote in their publication, we wear. We don't just do horses, man. Girl, you gotta go get your nails done too. Wear designer clothes, listen to Beyonce. All the same things that average people do, we do as questions as farmers and whatever. Mm-hmm. And so we have to show them that it's the same audience.
Yeah.
That we don't have to have Wrangler support us. It doesn't have to be Ariat. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be, Jordan Brand. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, not Jordan Brand, but any Luke Casey or any of those group companies. We wear other things as well.
Right.
So we have to show outside businesses, African American businesses that are strong in the community, that's still supported by Essence and Jet and all these other publications that we have value in here too. Mm-hmm. We don't have to wear Wrangler. We can wear some daggone Sean John jeans and ride horses. What? Yeah. Matter of fact, call Sean John and tell him, look, make a freaking boot cut jean that we can start rocking. There's value in it.
Exactly.
We will rock it. If you make it, you know what I'm saying? You got designers.
Yeah.
Tap into this area. So we have to get some of these African American businesses behind what we do. And the first option for them will be investing in our black youth. Right. They wouldn't have consciousness saying, well, do we do it, little Susie, or Shaquille? You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna be no challenge. It's gonna be like, look, we choose that.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
So we have to present ourselves and create enough value to show them that, look, there's value. There's a following in what we do. Young Black Equestrians, this is the future. Why not get involved on the ground floor of something great? Imagine, Sean John, that you tap into us now, and as we grow, you grow, and we create a whole new movement behind it. Not just me. You can say, because see, me as Black Rain, I spotlight everybody because I know it takes a big family. There's no competition. Sometimes as Black folks, we can get in competitive things, like we got some other, sites that's promoting all these things. Man, we got to learn how to come together and create a freaking blanket. Because if I'm at the boardroom, and I talked to A. Terry Wells with Roddenware, and I said, dude, if I'm sitting there having an opportunity and somebody's thinking about clothes, the first thing I say is call Terry. Dude, he got Roddenware. There's no sense that, a great quality of clothes like dude. I would love to be able to now put the seals, offer your business to somebody I may be talking to. I don't have a clothing line. They're going to plug you in front. You need somebody that's got a platform and some pretty young ladies that represent your whole brand, and you want some TV advertisement. Call Caitlin. Adriana. Is it Adriana? I ain't never call your name out loud.
It's Abriana.
Abriana. See, it can't say Adriana. You got to say Abriana. That's why I want to hear you see it first. So call Abriana and Caitlin. They would love to be out front doing not just.
We sure would.
Absolutely.
We're trying to get flued out.
We have to now have people in place so when opportunities come, that we can plug you guys up front and create more exposure.
Yep. That is the truth.
So yeah, man, that's the thing in advertising, Caitlin. We have to now not all doors have been shut in my face with Black Race Magazine. That's why you don't see a lot of big advertising. They are watching. I already know they're watching because I always get inbox with something like the American Saddlery Association. Oh, you're doing such a phenomenal job. Oh, we love following your face. Yeah, send some of that cash over it. That's what I want to see.
Right.
So I sent letters to all those top stuff, like, Fitch and all the man, look, they're all about them. They're waiting till my numbers hit a certain threshold. That's when they go come running. I already know that. It's about exposure and getting their advertisement dollar, return on the advertisement dollar. So remember when Barack Obama was running for office, and I'm just going on the business side. Barack Obama said, I don't have to listen to the Black community. I already got it. Because he knew most Black folks would vote for him just because he was Black. So his focus was the white community and the youth, tomorrow's youth, white kids, that help them look at the world from a different view. Because they're not coming up in their parents' era, where there was all that Jim Crow era. They're coming up with, dignity, whoever you love. So with that to say, I solicit to all these other big companies, but I lost my train of thought. So that's on my mind.
You were talking about Barack Obama.
Oh, Barack Obama still had to solicit. All right, so a lot of those big things, girl, you own it. That is exactly where I was going right there. That is true. So Barack Obama said, I don't have to solicit to the Black community because I already have them. Well, a lot of these big companies like Wrangler and them, what are they saying? They don't have to solicit us. Go to any trail ride. What are they wearing?
Yeah.
They ain't advertised one hour to us. They ain't put not one Black face on the cover or nothing, and we still wear it.
That's just like the Popeyes chicken sandwich.
We don't have any. You're right. We don't have our own brand.
Yeah, there's no alternatives to that.
There's no alternative. I don't have to solicit to you. So why am I advertising in Black Race Magazine, spending my advertising dollar when they only have a limited budget to advertise me around the country? Why am I soliciting to you when you have nowhere else to go but us? So they don't force. I understand it. If you talk about frustration, I don't get frustrated. It's business. They don't have to work $5. You go to every trail ride, 50% of them trail clubs are having an area shirt on. Then you got to advertise 1 hour. They come.
Yeah.
They coming. Look at the feet. Look at the bell buckle. Look at the jeans. Everything. They already have us. We have to now create African American alternatives in clothing, in saddle makers, in fur makers. We have to create an alternative so we can now redirect our focus. But we also have the community that will support our own first.
Right.
Meaning, these same trail riders, you get their attention by taking money out of their pocket. Meaning, I want to invest in other African American brands. That's how you change the narrative. That's how you get them to take us serious.
Yeah.
Right now, they're not.
No. Yeah.
And these are just facts. And it's business. It's not even personal. It's about numbers. And we haven't shown that we support our own enough. So we also have to put our best brand forward because you don't want to get some raggedy stuff just to support.
Right.
But when we do that, we have to then, support. And we haven't been known over the years to support our own enough. But hopefully, I'm always optimistic.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll say. That's how, Caitlin, that we get their attention of the big brands to get them to invest in us.
By supporting our own first.
Yeah.
That
But
is.
it's going to come. It's a marathon now. Don't worry. It's hope. These things are changing fast.
So, what advice do you have as a business person? What advice do you have for these minority businesses? I mean, say some of these things do exist and we just don't know, What advice do you have to these businesses who want to get exposure or want to, kind of get out there, especially if they are kind of horse centric? Because I've had a couple people, mention things to me like, oh, I make horsehair charm bracelets, or I make blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, that's cool, but how do you set yourself different? So that's usually what I think. So what advice do you have for these kind of minority equestrian horse cowboy businesses that want to be on the come up?
Okay. Me and my wife coming up in business, we went to invest in ourselves a lot. So we went to a lot of business networks, things that work in mind as far as, John C. Maxwell conferences and training. And so we were tempered for business well before we had it. A lot of people have a skill, but if you don't have the business allocation to be able to apply that, it's just a skill and a hobby.
Right.
And so you have to be able to learn all the laws of business and how to advertise, but also have to put those things in place to say, if this is an overnight success, can I handle it? One of the things you learn from me is, I never tried, a wealthy man told me this, and I never take advice from people who make less than me. So if you're a millionaire and I want to be a millionaire, I'm going to listen to the words of a million.
Yeah.
And the advice from a millionaire. 1,000-aire, I can do that.
Yeah.
But a millionaire is that I need to know what a million. Like, you can't be a person that makes $50,000, $60,000 a year and give me advice. I've done that. I don't need no advice from that. Just make $200,000 a year and we come talk. So a millionaire told me this: grow with your business, never outgrow your business. If you learn from Black Rings Magazine, I move fast when I got the support. When I don't, I slow it down. I keep pace. Don't overexpose and show your hand. The worst thing you will want is to have say you make halters and you do hand braided halters. The worst thing you want is some store want to pick you up like Walmart and you don't have distributors. You can't keep up with demand. You will not just go out of business, but you go out of business with a bad reputation. You can't not just produce the numbers, but the quality that goes along with it, because when you try to rush it, you're going to shortchange the quality.
Right.
Which will drive you out of business, your reputation, everything. I would say invest in yourself, learn business, along with being able to put out and improve the quality of your product. Always working on the quality, because what we just said is when people come to your house, what will they see? They're going to get a first impression. Your first give an example. Even when I put Black and magazine out that first issue, I didn't think the quality was there, but it was my first issue. I had to give myself a little break. So I said, it ain't all there, but I'll work on it. I tell you what, the next time I launch this thing, it's gonna be on point because remember my wife and I are a team. So my wife went through that process with me, and she learned. Now she has Formidable Woman magazine. Man, pick that up. That looks like any competitive magazine on the shelf today. I mean, it's loaded with content and advertising. So she learned from what I put out the first time. What I learned now, so as I build a team, I wanted, so if Barnes & Noble called me, I got my distribution in place. I got everything in place, so I don't have to touch anything. Mm-hmm. I can put out 100,000 issues in a month and be just fine. I won't even lose sleep. The money is set to come. If you're a small distribution, while you're building your halter, your handmade halter, get the advice on how to now grow this business to scale whatever your vision has shown you. Whatever God's shown you in your future. See, for Black Range Magazine, a lot of the things, if you go to my page, you will see Black Range TV. I've already seen ourselves doing equestrian awards where we're taking the top equestrians around the country, African American youth, and giving them awards like a platform. Mm-hmm. All these things I saw when I put the business together. So God made all this in 7 days, in 6 days, and then took a rest. So the world was finished before we were even started. Mm-hmm. He's working backwards. You have to now dream and don't just start a business. Dream with the end in mind. Mm-hmm. If God's showing you that your halters were in every tax store across the country, what is that going to look like? And how can you keep that demand from the ground, from the start of your business to where you are today? Always have the end in mind. If God's going to come and bless it, could this thing grow to the scale that He's shown me overnight? And start working on that. Meaning, you got to run your business like you're already there. Treat every product that's going out like it's already there because you will never know what hand it's going to fall into. Mm-hmm. Give you an example. I'm going to show you how powerful it is. Mr. Melvin Hobbs, that I think he's on the board of International Equestrian Games. And so they're doing a big event in Asheville, North Carolina, in October. Well, he started last year just a day of the African Americans, just to spotlight great African Americans that came before. All the guys like Tom Bass and all the great equestrians, Jenny Wakefield and along the way. So, and this is a 100 jumper event. But you know what kind of money goes through this. This is high end, well see. But he's on the African American board. Well, he saw Black Range magazine. Mm-hmm. He jumped out and now gave me a call to Stanford. I would love for you to sit on a panel of we created this year. We're coming back for such a success last year that we want you on a panel of an African American dialogue. Just to come in and talk about in 55 topics that we're going to be discussing is how do we create some show visually that it's not just for the wealthy, but it's for people on low income areas. How do we get more kids involved? It's a line of topics what we're talking about today, and how do we get more kids involved in what we do to show that it's affordable, or make it affordable by maybe investing in some of these youth. So taking those money and pouring into our inner city community. Right. And making it for everyone. So you have to do your business with a sense of professionalism that people of value that sit in our places will see enough value in you and what you're bringing to the table and say, I want to be a part in what you have. Right. That's the same halter brand as a small business person making 1 or 2 saddles for your friends that you want to say, this guy takes enough pride in their work, in their craft, that I'm a business and I've watched you. I've had my hands on your product. I want to invest in that. Mm-hmm. But you have to have all these things in place to know that call, if I put out a product with quality that I can stand behind, that thing will come. Mm-hmm. God will bless it and put it in the right hands. If it comes, what you going to do with it? Do you have the things in place? Are you sitting on the couch eating popcorn and watching the game on Monday night? Or are you researching how do I expand my business from where it is today to double my growth for the next quarter, and the quarter after that, and the quarter after that? How do I get more followers? How do I get this in the hands of more people that can see and touch? Do I have to make, for every one saddle I make, do I have to make one to just give out for somebody to just ride in to a top athlete?
Right.
Or Ariana or Caitlin, so they can talk about on their podcast how great the saddle is, and thank you, Johnny Mac, for sending over the saddle so I can ride in, and it's awesome.
Yeah, we like samples.
About it on your podcast that goes out to 1 million people around the world. Yeah. And now everybody else that's listening, 5% of them want one of those saddles now. So go to your site immediately because you said, if y'all want this saddle, go to Johnny Mac Saddles. This guy makes the best saddle. Every time you see me on my podcast, that's what I'm riding in. Now he got say out of 5%, he gets 2% of those as customers. Now he got to retain those customers.
Yeah.
And so 2% out of 1 million is still a whole freaking lot. He sold 2,000 saddles.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to think with the end in mind. But the problem is, most people don't dream that far. They just do the mom and pop. Yeah. You gotta be able to dream with the end in mind. Like, what it's gonna look like if Ariana and Caitlin is on the RFD channel and got y'all on the network now. Y'all on the show.
Ooh, watch out now.
I love you, okay? And you girls are so cute and you're so articulate, and I just love you guys. My husband and I started a TV network, and we would love to invest in you. We was looking for some diversity. Go to our channel. Boom. There you go. Over there.
Yep, we need to talk about that.
I was about to say, we already had one of them conversations.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to be able to dream with the end in mind.
Yeah.
Be big. Follow what God is. Be big. Big, big. See, and we can go through that Jay-Z thing. You know, the Jay-Z, everybody's getting mad at Jay-Z, Tyler Cameron, but there's the same struggle, but it's two different people taking two different approaches. Remember, Jay-Z has crossed over now. He's leaving the millionaire stack. He's going to the billionaire stack. Jay-Z is not taking advice from millionaires. He's taking advice from billionaires.
Right.
There's a whole lot of millionaires upset. There's a whole lot of thousandaires upset. But they ain't never been in a conversation of a billionaire. There's few billionaires that look like us.
Right.
So he's kind of trying to explain himself when he doesn't have to people that's never been in his shoes.
Right.
Because one they bring to the table is not, he has to cross over. To get us where we're going, somebody got to do it. Everybody hated the educated black man coming up from the plantation on forward because those were the guys that could read or in the house and may not been dark as us, but we out in the field getting sunburned. But that guy in the house learned how to read, start presenting us as African Americans that can retain education, that has a train of thought, that opened the doors for so many other great things. We celebrate Tom Bass today. But Tom Bass was his daddy was a slave owner. And he's half white, half black. But he showed that this African American being black skin on it just that such a black is going to do great things in the whole community and well respected. Yeah. With presidents and some of the great people around the world. So we have to have somebody at the table to go places that we've never been. I don't get mad at that. I don't. I really don't. It's all the same fight. All the same struggle. There's a young black equestrian network that has nothing to do with Black Race Magazine. You guys got your own ideas for what you want, and great. We just happen to be the same company. Same fight though. Doing things and have visions for where we're going that's independent of each other. But as a fan, I want us all to win because at the end of the day, your success is great.
Yeah, and there's room for everybody. There's room for everybody to win.
We have to connect more. We have to connect more. We all have to link up to create a blanket. A net catches more. so we have to create a network, a network. In order for the net to work, we have to create a network.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got to be able to cast that out to the masses. So when the census do areas and wrangling, not that we said we need it from them, we're going to do what we do anyway. But we would love to have their support because it goes a long way.
Right.
Love it. But we also want our African Americans to get involved as well.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that's in horse racing, just to show you guys some of the things I've been working on, I work closely with John Hill. John Hill is a great one racer. John Hill is facing some of the things that we're talking about today on the club. He's a black trainer that's at Churchill Downs. He races out of Indiana, Churchill Downs. Man, his winning clutch, you need to look at that guy is killed. I mean, he's winning. He's won probably 10 races since the Kentucky Derby. And we know it, a purse like a grade 1 race. And so his business is thriving. We talk all the time because a lot of business owners overlook him because he's black.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just would rather with Todd Fletcher, they would rather go with someone that, and he's saying it's something that on a winning percentage, Todd Fletcher gets a lot of better horses, but for what I get, I'm winning on the same level, but I will never get looked at because of the type of horses that he gets. And, but we're both winning. And so with that, I'm trying to help him put business plans and stuff together so we can reach out to a lot of business owners that may not have anything to do with horse racing, but they just need to know where to move their money. And get behind. And we show them from the business side that your return on investment is really great in horse racing. And I can show you how and what I've done with other people that's invested in our business that put a horse through our program that we can turn into real good money. And that's how, you know, he's racing his own horses, but we want to run his stable now. I think his stable holds. And he has a stable out in Indiana. It's on 100 acres. He has about 75 to 100 stalls.
Wow.
So he can hold a full network of business. He can run. He can train an unlimited amount of horses in a day. He got a full staff.
Mm-hmm.
But he races his own horses, which is he's trying to keep between 8 and 12 running at all times. But man, think about it. He can hold another freaking 50 horses easy.
Yeah.
And run it. And that's business. How to get us back to greatness. One of the things that we're losing now, we got a lot of black bush track racers, but we don't have a lot of African Americans on the professional side, like in the quarter horse and thoroughbred trainers now.
Right.
It's not a lot. Not even a lot of jockeys. Not a lot. And we don't want, from an industry that we once dominated just 30 years ago, you go to Churchill Downs just 30 years ago, and there was probably 90% African Americans working at the track. The other 10% were business owners. But they had a lead manager and a lot of, you know, as far as hot walkers and all those other groomsmen, they were all black. Just 30 years ago.
Yeah.
We don't want to one day watch that disappear because it will. If there's, one of the youngest black trainers on the grade 1 side that I found in the country is like the youngest was like, I think now he's 38. I could have introduced him to you guys. He's out of Maryland. He was at Romp that we did with Black Race. But man, he's the youngest one I know. 38. Imagine when people like that die. And not pass all that knowledge down to the next generation.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to catch up with some of these top white trainers if you ain't passed that.
Exactly.
That's like watching. That's like the art of the farrier not being passed down to
absolutely
or black women.
Yes, it will be a skill alone because it takes a lot to gain that skill. Some of it is passed down to you through your parents and people that they're working closely to all your life. Yes, that's another one. Think about it. I call them blacksmiths. You call them just farriers. Well, I'm talking about next level. I'm talking about blacksmiths that can take an iron straight and shape it to your horse's foot. Every shoe has a custom shooting fit on that foot. Because that farrier is tailoring that piece of steel to your horse's foot.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about. I've only met, okay, back in 2016, I need to put out that video. I'm looking right at it. Because that was a friend of mine. So he went to Vietnam. We'll talk about his name. But I have a video. I used to follow him around, and he used to shoot here. He was a blacksmith, but he was also a Tennessee horse trainer. And man, he competed on the Tennessee horse side. But man, it's gonna come back to his name. I want to call it. But he ended up passing away from a heart attack. He was a blacksmith that could take an iron out. He can make you a railing to go up your stairway in your house custom, or he can put a shoe on a horse. And he would shape that shoe to every individual hoof. If you watched him, I did a whole series on my iPad. And I watched him and I filmed him shooting horses. Larry Miller. Yes, Larry Miller. He would tell you what he's doing and he would talk you through as he's shooting that horse. And he can add all girl, he can custom make the shoe. And he was charging only it was $120 a set. So to get a pair of shoes put on with him, it was $120. But I promise you, your horse's foot will be set right.
I mean, people who can't do that charge the same amount, so.
Yeah. So it's just, but that skill is the next level skill. It ain't like showing up with a box of shoes that you ordered off of Amazon. It's just go and take a hard piece of steel and shape it. And, I mean, to watch him work was just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I have it. You know what? I'm very careful about the things that legally that you can do. See, okay, let's talk about that. There's a challenge doing Black Rings Magazine. Why? Because say, if I go to Abriana, then you posted your photos of you and you had a professional photographer come out and shoot you. And that's the one with you standing beside the horse who has awesome child and like I shared today. I can't just do that. I can't go and snag a Jamie Foxx photo and post it to my page. Why? Because as Black Rings Magazine, I'm held to a higher standard.
Right.
Give an example. Okay. If you go to the Bill Pickett Rodeo and post photos of you taking in the sands as a novice, just to post to your page, like, hey, girl, I'm at the Bill Pickett. Look at this girl running barrels. And the difference is you can post it, but I can't. Black Rings Magazine go post a photo of that girl running a barrel. I'm held to a high standard because to that Bill Pickett organization, your post goes out to the masses and has a more sense of credibility attached to it. You can't post a picture with her leaning wrong in that barrel. It makes us as a Bill Pickett look bad. And now I'm going to sue you or tell you to take it down. Because they ain't going to tell you to take it down. They're going to say, we don't care about your followers. You just got a novice person on the side. You just on Facebook.
Right.
So I get calls when most people won't. So I can't do everything. And I'm very careful about what I can share. So getting back to Larry Miller, I have to get permission before I share something simple as something that I took. Even though I got permission from him, I'm sensitive to the family because it's still an image of him.
Right.
That I put out that the family can come back and then sue him because they have the rights to his estate. They didn't give me authorization to post that video.
Right.
So I have to go through a whole lot of loopholes where anybody else, they can do it. Yeah. And these are some of the things that I ran into. Like, I can't, like, soliciting to go to an average rodeo. And I say, hey, I would love to bring Black Rings out. And it's like, nah, we don't need any more photographers right now. We don't take you guys to, can come out and take pictures of rodeo. Now, and I'm looking at the fans and saying, everybody else taking pictures. Yeah, but they can, but you can't. Because your page has more of a question credibility. So if you take a bad image, they can't, because it's not going out to just their followers. But if you take a bad image, it makes us look bad. So I've been sued 4 times already. Or I had content taken down. Most people just don't know it because it ain't something I'm going to raise my hand and share. But I've had photographers that I just snatched a photo off somebody's page and shared it to my page. And will get smacked on the hand for it.
Yeah.
because professional photographers said, yeah, they can do it. But we ain't coming after them. They just work a 9-to-5 job, but you're a business.
Right.
So you get monetary value
from that photo.
Content.
Yep.
You can't share. So I'm saying that from a business standpoint, you guys legally have to know all that you can do is even as a podcast, what you can and can't do, because it will come back and bite you. Now you're writing a $4,500 check for something as simple as a click. So
well, yeah, we ain't trying to have that happen. I'll put that on my list of things to research.
Be very careful on your pages on what you share and what you can't, because you have to get commission. It will come back and bite you. Even a year later, it will come back and bite you. Like, you had it on month a year, but the minute you add your that's why I stripped down a lot of stuff. Because I was naive very early doing that, and I had to go back and go through all of it and clean it up, because even if it's 2 years later, as your business grows and get more exposure, it didn't come across the wrong person. Now you got to go back and say, dude, you've had this up for that many years. My lawyer will be contacting you and trying to assess the value that you've acquired over the time you've had my energy. And this is what we came up with. So you got an option to either pay this or negotiate with me or see you in court.
Yeah.
And what you going to do? So that's the type of stuff. You have to always think with the end in mind. Just do things on a certain level, a certain standard, as if you already did. These are just nuggets. I'm just dropping these so you guys know.
Well, we sure do appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
We actually found a great deal of people to talk to, just from Black Rain Spotlights, for the podcast. So we definitely thank you for that. Thank you for.
Look, I always call myself the oracle anyway. I sit high and I look low. I see where everybody does. I see.
We actually talked to Felicia Chandler and Michael Lynch a couple days ago.
Oh yeah.
And they are pretty awesome.
I see everything, man. That's good. It's all great though.
All right. Well, we're not gonna take up too much of your time. I sure do appreciate you talking to us today.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Alrighty. Caitlin, you got anything else you want to ask him?
Going back to what you said about, us networking. So how can Young Black Equestrians, the podcast, and Black Rain, how can we play a part in this network?
What's you guys' format?
You said our format?
I mean, when I say format, how do you share your podcast?
It is on, we use Anchor, which will put it out on Google, Apple, Spotify, and I think 8 other podcast hosting, sites, I guess. But yeah, Anchor does that for us.
What we need to do is, we need to figure out how to link that to the Black Rain site. The reason why you do that, it'll give you a bigger Google search platform. So when you Google search it, it's going to strengthen you on Google.
Yes.
To be able to be the first thing that comes up when people put you in. That's where you want to find yourself at the top. Like, you Google Black Cowboy and Equestrian and stuff, so you realize Black Rain is coming up high, quick. That's how people find it. So you want to strengthen yourself in Google. So that's an option that's sitting down and saying, how can we figure out how to link Young Black Equestrian with, these are the questions, Caitlin, that's a good one, that other platforms should be asking.
Yeah.
How do we connect ourselves? Because all we do is, when we do that, we strengthen our Google search. You strengthen your platform. So the first thing that comes up is another thing you can do is, even though we use Young Black this or Young Black that, is, you've noticed with me, I do Black Rain's hashtag, but when I say cowboy, I don't put Black Cowboy.
Right.
I just say cowboy.
Right.
Why? To strengthen yourself, you need to have black faces showing up just when the word cowboy comes up. Not black cowboy. Who's Googling black cowboy?
Right.
I mean, you Google cowboy, you want to be able to see your face. And so I know a lot of people do it and I share it. But from a Black Rain standpoint, I ain't worried about that. I just say, hey, we are all equestrians. We're all cowboys. We're all horsewomen and cowgirls. We're all that. And so we're just as well as anybody else. And so we don't have to put black on everything. The color stands out. Of course you're black. You don't have to say it.
Yeah.
So linking ourselves and attaching ourselves to each other will strengthen you. And also, everything you do will strengthen us too. So it just gives you more of a footprint. So we'll figure this out, how we can now, you guys can become a regular on our platforms like the page. Just tag yourself. Inbox me. Say, Stan, got a new podcast, and here's some content to go with it. Here's a feature on Michael Lynch, and he's a great guy. He's been in the horses, been in the saddlebreds, and a judge for this many years, and blah, blah, blah. You guys will want to tune into this. Hope your host, Ariana, and Caitlin brings you another great interview. And just tag us. And we'll just share it, keep it circulating. But if you keep yourself out front, don't get excited about the likes. Get excited about the people that join your page.
Right.
Yeah, I don't care if you have 10 likes or 3 likes.
Right.
Don't matter. It's so many people from that get exposed to that and join your page. So many people that non-business people, not everyday Facebook folks, get caught up in these likes. Man, them likes mean nothing. Has nothing to do with money.
Right.
Nothing. Zero. Do not. I'm not excited about if I share something on my page. I tell people all the time, don't get excited about no likes, especially if you're a business. Because business ain't necessarily sexy, but a girl standing on top of a horse in a Walmart parking lot is. It's going to get a whole lot of likes. But it ain't going to generate not zero in the income.
Right.
How many share a business, it may not be worthy of a whole lot of likes, but it gives you some traffic and exposure because people are going to say, man, I keep seeing this business. I keep seeing this business pop up. Let's stop in here. Let's check this out. Yeah. And I click on it and they check it out. That's what you guys as young black equestrians got to get excited about is that I notice a lot of people pop up and from a business standpoint that have pages now. They'll spin off and got their own black pages. They may have 20,000 followers.
Right.
But how many views do they get in a month?
Right.
Just because somebody went like the page and they're part of the page, but they ain't been back in 6 months to see what's going on, don't mean, you know what I'm saying? Don't mean nothing.
Right.
So a lot of people start pages on groups, and a group gets more exposure. So it may be because you can go to a group now, and I can opt everybody on I got 5,000 followers on Facebook. I can go and opt all of them in, and they have to opt themselves out. So just because a group has 20,000 people or 50,000 in their group, don't mean nothing. It means a person went and say, Caitlin now, you're going to opt all her people into that group automatically without their consent. So it can really throw the numbers off whack. But not with a page, you can't do that. A page, you can only invite, and a person has a chance to turn you down.
Right.
And it has to be people finding or stumbling across you to go and like it on their own. You can't force nobody in. And so when you start looking at pages that have 100,000 followers, those are real numbers. And if a person opted in your page by choice, they are in tune with what you have going on the page. Something resonates with them. And when it's not, they're going to opt out on their own. So it's like church. You either got to be preaching or not. Don't blame the congregation. If you bring in that word, they come.
Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah.
You either got a choice to go and say, man, this cafe ain't moving me no more, and I'm out.
Right.
This church don't represent what I want. But if you show that you have content that is now appealing to a broad spectrum of people, one of the things I'm so excited about is how many go to any equestrian page, any publication page out there where the Chronicles of Horsemen, go to any of those pages and try to look at the diversity and see if there's any on that page. One of the things about Black Rings Magazine, I feature everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you involve ranch, equestrian, horseman, cowgirl, I do it all.
Mm-hmm.
And how many pages do you know can bring that many diverse amount of groups together? Because the horseman, the cowboy, and the equestrian are all segregated.
Yeah.
They don't do each other. You know, equestrians feel some kind of way about cowboys feel some way about equestrians, the horsemen are in between. They look just a little sideways to be one.
Yeah.
And so they kind of follow their own. To be able to bring that group together, that they're all liking each other's choice of event is amazing to me. That's my greatest feat.
Mm-hmm.
I always say it's the greatest feat to ever have a community that they all accept each other.
Mm-hmm. And that was kind of why we chose the name that we did for the podcast, because I was like, all right, if we do, you know, Black Cowgirl something, you know, what percentage of people that consider themselves cowgirl, whatever, who's listening to podcasts?
Right.
You know, who is on that format of media? You know, and it's not the people out trail riding, you know. So when you throw the equestrian in there, it's like, oh wait, they ride English. Like, no, we don't personally ride English all the time, but we can bridge the gap between the two. Featuring people who do, and, you know, featuring people who go out trail riding. You know, we just talked to a girl the other day, and she was like, yeah, I've never sat on my horse beside somebody who was Black on a horse. We were like, girl, what? And she's in Fayetteville. Yeah.
Like, just introduced to her to, like, what it is that we grew up doing. She was totally blown away. I talked to her, after we got the phone, I talked to her for, like, another hour.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
we get a lot of exposure. Don't worry, it's gonna be a shock for many after we grow. Because the more I start getting these publications on the shelves of every airport and every Barnes and Noble, they'll see.
They sure
Don't
will.
worry, it's coming.
They sure will.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Young Black Equestrians, the podcast with Stanford Moore. This was part 2 of his interview. If you want to get in touch with Stanford, feel free to shoot him an email at info@blackreins.com. It's info, I-N-F-O, at BLACKREINS.com. Subscribe, like, comment, share, do all of those things. Leave us a review. Head over to our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and rate us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. See you next time.